There lived a certain man in Russia long ago. He was big and strong, in his eyes a flaming glow. Most people looked at him with terror and with fear, but to Moscow chicks, he was such a lovely dear. Welcome to your favourite day of the week, everyone, where it's day number 21 of our advent calendar, where every day up until Christmas and Christmas itself, we're going for a strange and funny story that has happened in history. Yesterday, we went through the craziest Roman emperor ever to live, and today, we've got another madman on our hands. We're learning about the legend behind the famous song. Also, if I sound a bit off today, it's because I'm extremely tired, but I gotta finish my advent calendar. I can sleep after Christmas. Anyway, what's behind door number 21? Rasputin, the man behind the legend. Just a pre-warning, apologies if I mispronounce a lot of these Russian words. As you can probably tell, I'm not native to Russia. Grigory Yefimovich Rasputin was born in Russia to a peasant family in 1869 in the village of Pokrovskoy. Rasputin's youth is an area of his life which we know almost nothing about, but it is agreed upon by historians that he was not formally educated and remained illiterate into adulthood. In February of 1887, he married a peasant girl by the name of Praskovya Dubrovina, who bore him 7 children, with only 3 surviving until adulthood, and she stayed devoted to him until his death. But this youthful and married version of Rasputin sounds nothing like the sexual deviant we hear about in the song. So where did it all change? In the lyrics of the song, we learn he could preach the Bible like a preacher, full of ecstasy and fire, but he was also the kind of teacher women would desire. Which takes us to 1897, when Rasputin, at the age of 28, developed a renewed interest in religion and left his hometown to go on a pilgrimage. The reasons for this are unknown, with some suggesting he left to escape punishment for his role in a horse theft, and another saying he had a vision of the Virgin Mary, which inspired him. Rasputin also went on a pilgrimage at the age of 18 before married life, so maybe he wanted to continue his religious learnings. But whatever the reason, he now left his pregnant wife and infant son at home. He wandered across Europe, living off peasants' donations, and gained quite the reputation as a holy man, with the ability to heal the sick and predict the future. Whatever he got up to in his travels, he returned home a changed man, as he became vegetarian, swore off alcohol, and prayed and sang much more enthusiastically than he did before. The years following his return, he spent as a holy wanderer, often leaving his home in Pokrovskoy for months and years to wander and visit holy sites. By the early 1900s, he had also developed a small circle of followers who prayed with him on holy days. There was rumours of secret prayer meetings where his female followers would ceremonially wash him before each meeting, and the group sang songs and undertook rituals of self-flagellations and sexual orgies. Lucky bastard. However, repeated investigations failed to establish whether there was actually any truth in this, and it is believed to be false. But in the following years, rumours continued to grow and spread that Rasputin was indeed sleeping with his female followers. So we can say that this section of the song is true. He would teach religious learnings with such passion that women would desire him. The next part goes, he ruled the Russian land and never mind the Tsar, but the Kazachak he danced really wunderbar. In all affairs of state, he was the man to please, but he was real great when he had a girl to squeeze. For the Queen, he was no wheeler dealer, though she heard the things he'd done. She believed he was a holy healer who would heal her son. So the first part of this we can get out of the way is the Kazachuk, he danced really wunderbar, with the Kazachuk being an old Russian folk dance, and I imagine he danced it extremely well, being the man he was. So the next part is claiming that Rasputin ruled Russia over the Tsar, and if you wanted to have a say in the way the country was run, you had to have Rasputin's approval. The next part states that the Russian queen had heard about his healing powers and she wanted him to heal her son who had hemophilia, which was a bleeding disorder where the blood doesn't clot properly. So at this point in his life, Rasputin had gained quite the reputation as being an extremely holy man around Russia and quite the spiritual healer. He was first introduced to the royal family of Tsar Nicholas and Tsarina Alexandra in 1905. With the Tsar recording he made the acquaintance of a man of God, Grigori. Sometime between 1905 to 1908, the royal family became convinced that Rasputin possessed a miraculous power to heal their son Alexei, who, as already mentioned, had bleeding episodes. In one episode in 1908, Rasputin managed to ease Alexei's suffering and pain, and the belief by Alexandra that he was helping her son allowed Rasputin's influence in the royal courts to grow. Rasputin soon became an indispensable member of the royal entourage, and he wielded great power as Alexandra's advisor. In the presence of the royal family, Rasputin maintained the look of a holy and humble peasant. However, it's outside of the royal courts where the Rasputin we all know and love comes to life. In one of the greatest chat-up lines in history, he preached to woman that physical contact with him would have a purifying and healing effect, and he acquired many mistresses as well as seducing many other women. Due to Rasputin's controversial behaviour and influence he had over the royal family, he soon began to gain enemies in the court. He was accused of religious heresy, rape, exerting undue political influence over the Tsar, and was even rumoured to be having an affair with the Russian Queen. However, I'm going to disappoint many of you here, as there is no actual evidence of Rasputin being the lover of the Russian Queen. But obviously, due to how close they were and the influence he had over her, there was going to be rumours circulating of those two sleeping together. And it was probably another ploy from his rivals in an attempt to remove him from power. When accounts of Rasputin's conduct reached Tsar Nicholas, he refused to believe that he was anything other than a holy man, and anyone who accused Rasputin of any wrongdoings was to be removed from their position. By 1911, Rasputin's behaviour and influence over the royal family had become a national scandal, and the Prime Minister of Russia told the Tsar of his misdeeds. Rasputin was now expelled under the advice of the Prime Minister, but Alexandra soon had him returned to the royal court. Nicholas, trying not to piss off his wife or endanger his son by removing his healer, chose to once again ignore Rasputin's wrongdoings. As Rasputin's influence grew over the royal family due to his ability to heal their son and ease his pain, a lot of people accused Rasputin of the one pulling the strings and manipulating the royal family. The lyrics of the song go, "For the Queen he was no wheeler dealer," which is in reference to the Queen hearing about his wrongdoings and bringing him back to court anyway because she didn't believe them, or she didn't really care because the effect he was having on her son was enough for him to be there. Next up we have, "But when his drinking and lusting and his hunger for power became known to more and more people, the demands to do something about this outrageous man became louder and louder." So we touched on this previously, that Rasputin continued to gain enemies in court due to his wrongdoings and misdeeds, and as his influence grew and more people heard about him, a lot of people wanted him removed from his position. But Rasputin's influence reached its heights in 1915, when during World War I, the Tsar took personal command of his troops, leaving domestic affairs to Alexandra. Rasputin served as her personal advisor, where he appointed his own church officials and cabinet ministers, and also occasionally intervened in military matters to Russia's detriment, which relates back to his hunger for power. As he appointed more of his own men and made more and more decisions that were bad for Russia, a lot of people wanted him removed from power. The next part goes, "The man's just got to go," declared his enemies, but the ladies begged, "Don't you try to do it, please." No doubt this Rasputin had lots of hidden charms, though he was a brute, they just fell into his arms. Which is again a reference that a lot of people wanted Rasputin gone by any means necessary, probably by killing him. But the ladies, because he was such a sexual deviant, absolutely loved him and wanted to keep him around at any cost. There was a lot of assassination attempts on Rasputin's life, but the most notable one before his death is when he was stabbed and he was injured severely, but eventually after surgery he recovered. Then one night some men of higher standing set a trap they're not to blame, "Come to visit us," they kept demanding, and he really came. So at this point a group of nobles, some men of higher standing, decided that Rasputin's influence threatened the empire, and in December of 1916 they set a trap where he would come to their house and then they would kill him. What actually happened in the house will probably never be known, but according to legend, Rasputin ate cakes laced with cyanide and was unaffected by the poison. He then drank 3 glasses of poison wine and said, "I feel fine," as the song suggests. The nobles had finally had enough of Rasputin's bullshit, so shot him. It still didn't kill him, however, and Rasputin ran out to the courtyard where he was shot again. He was then bound and wrapped in cloth and chucked into a freezing river. His autopsy officially states that he died from being shot, so he was shot until he was dead. So the lyric "the cat had really gone" refers to Rasputin becoming more and more crazy and a madman as time went on. Rasputin also was Russia's greatest love machine, a sexual deviant who all the women loved, and the demands to do something about this outrageous man became louder and louder, which holds truth as well, as everyone wanted him gone and removed from power. The only part we can dispute is that he was the lover of the Russian queen, but it does make a great lyric in the song, and the song is amazing, so I let them off for that. So I hope you all enjoyed day 21 of our Advent Calendar, everyone. I actually really love that song, so going through all the lyrics and saying this actually happened and relates to this part in his life was kind of fun. So join us tomorrow where we learn about why every British tank is equipped with tea making facilities. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that, and I'll see you all then. Peace.